What is up, guys? It is Baseball Nerd back with another predictions video. We're gonna be ranking the top 12 MLB outfields for next year going into 2021. We're gonna have a couple honorable mentions, so it's gonna be about 15 teams, but we're gonna have 12 that we're actually ranking in order and three little honorable mentions that I'll get into right away. First things first, guys, if you guys like baseball content, MLB The Show, MLB rankings, predictions, just talking baseball, please like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and come check out more videos. Comment and engage, and I'll engage back with you. Thank you guys very much. We'll get right into the honorable mentions. First team I have here, which would be about like the 15th, 14th, 13th ranked outfield going into 2021. If all, I forgot to say this, if all free agents stay where they are playing as of last year, so guys like obviously George Springer, Jackie Bradley Jr., some of those guys staying put just for this video. I know that's probably not going to happen. Some guys will leave, but I couldn't do that because some teams would be absolutely screwed and it wouldn't make sense, and it'd be really hard to actually judge what we think teams will be like next year. So I can't predict where everyone's going to go right now, so I will just act as if they are staying there. So like I said, starting off honorable mentions, we got the Arizona Diamondbacks, and they have a lot of depth. I feel like, not depth maybe, but they have a very good, well-rounded three people in their outfield. That's David Peralta, Ketel Marte, and Cole Calhoun. Cole Calhoun's probably the weakest link offensively, but he's very good defensively. He's a lockdown right fielder, and he has a cannon. Ketel Marte, switch hitter, very good center fielder, and David Peralta, very good lefty, and can definitely play left field if needed, when needed, and can do it. So I think that's a very good overall outfield. Second honorable mention we have is the Washington Nationals, and Juan Soto really pushes them up in the rankings. If you think about it, Victor Robles and nobody really in right field. I guess Eric Thames, something like that. But Victor Robles has shown that he's good with his glove, has not really come into his own offensively. He kind of reminds me of a Byron Buxton. We know he can hit, but just hasn't done it as well as he should yet. And then Juan Soto, dude, comes in, wins the World Series with the Nationals, goes off, is insane in the playoffs, and is doing it all under the age of 21, making all of us, young 20-year-olds feel stupid. But he does that, comes back this next year, and does it again without the protection of Anthony Rendon, no Zimmerman, just as him and Trey Turner pretty much leading that offensive battle for that team, and he holds it down in left field and just does insane things with his bat. So he really pushes them up into the honorable mentions. And then the last honorable mention I have is the Philadelphia Phillies, and I feel like they could have snuck in. It's just center field that's really holding them back. Andrew McCutchen, I do feel like will come back and bounce back and be fine. He's been a very good outfielder and definitely can get back to that position and play really good left field, center field if needed. But I think he will be in left now and can definitely do it with the bat. I don't think that's a problem for him. Bryce Harper, I actually feel like a lot of people think he's overrated. I think he may be underrated just because of how hyped up and enthusiastic and emotional he is when he plays. But he's a very good right fielder, has a cannon, lockdown right fielder, and just does a lot of good things with his bat and has been kind of improving steadily over the last couple of years. And I think he will have a very good 2021 season. I just don't think, center field being Roman Quinn and Adam Hazley and all those guys, I don't think they have what it takes in center field with that revolving door. Maybe Mickey Moniak comes up. Maybe they make a splash in free agency. But either way, I have them right at the top of that honorable mention list. Moving in number 12, and this team is another team that, like I said with Juan Soto, is just kind of getting carried by one guy, and that's the Los Angeles Angels. I think Mike Trout really, being the best player in baseball, pushes them up into the top 12, but Justin Upton had an off year last year, was hurt for a lot of it, and didn't start off very good in the beginning, and then was kind of hurt, came back and actually did better towards the end of the season, started to hit some home runs, started to get on base more, was just looking a lot better. So hopefully he comes back and does that. And then Joe Adell and Brandon Marsh are both coming up. A lot of people know Joe Adell, not as many people know Brandon Marsh, but he's a lefty, and he's also a very good outfielder defensively, and actually has better offensive numbers in the minor leagues than Joe Adell. So those two coming up, could push them up higher if one of those guys goes off next year, but I can't count on that, so that's why they're number 12. Number 11, we have the Chicago Cubs. And the Chicago Cubs, I know they have some age in right field in Jason Hayward, but he had a very good 2020 season. If we're basing it off of that, I think that you got to give them a good shot in 2021 with Ian Happ in center field, who also had a very good, kind of, not a breakout year, but kind of a breakout year. He's a switch hitter, very good center fielder, and then Kyle Schwarber in left field, who I think had a down year, but also still has a lot of pop in that bat. So Jason Hayward probably has a slight decline. It's got to come soon. I mean, he's like 37, I think. So, that's the problem for me with this outfield. But Ian Happ, young guy, very good. Kyle Schwarber, very good as well. Got some pop. But he's also a free agent next year. Who knows if he gets traded or if the Cubs are rebuilding or not. So if that happens, obviously their outfield goes down a little bit. But I think as of right now, 11's perfect for them. Moving in, we got number 10. I have the Boston Red Sox. And when I thought about the Boston Red Sox and how I feel about them, I think it's hard for me to put them over the Phillies and the Angels and the Cubs and stuff like that. But then the more I looked at their team, and if Jackie Bradley Jr. stayed, he's a lockdown center fielder that can hit when needed. He's going to be a bottom of the order guy, though, because they don't need him in the top of the order with JD and Bogarts and Devers and Andrew Benintendi and Alex Verdugo in left and right. Very good young left-handed hitters that are still, not even like in their primes yet. Still are building up to it, but still very good at this moment. And a lot of people forget JD Martinez, who is obviously going to be their DH 99% of the time. Technically can play the outfield for them. He can play left or right. Obviously, Verdugo and Benintendi are very good fielders compared to JD Martinez, so he probably will not be doing that. But if needed, he could. And so I feel like that offense and defense for that Boston Red Sox outfield is insane if you account all of the players that could play for them. Moving into number 9, we have the New York Mets. And I really didn't realize how good the New York Mets outfield was last year. I forgot Dominic Smith can play the outfield. Jeff McNeil can play the outfield. J.D. Davis can play the outfield. They had Jake Marisnick in center field, and to me that was like, oh yeah, center field's kind of weak for them. But when you have those guys all playing, and then you still have Michael Conforto, and I know Cespedes was there in the beginning of the year, and so I guess technically we could count him in coming next year. I don't know if he will, but if he comes back and Michael Conforto's in right, and Dominic Smith, J.D. Davis, and Jeff McNeil, and some of those guys can platoon in the outfield and stuff like that, then that outfield's actually very, very good and pretty young if you look at it. So I feel like going forward and just for 2021 especially, that's a very, very solid outfield. And that's why I have them at number 9. Could even push up higher if some of those young guys even get better. Michael Conforto had a very good year, as well as Dominic Smith and Brandon Nimmo, who would also play the outfield. Forgot about that. So a lot of depth and a lot of good young guys. I do think maybe they could get like a George Springer or something like that to lock down center field, but if not, I do think they have the tools to figure it out. Number 8, we have the San Diego Padres. Will Myers in right field had a very good year for the Padres last year. Tommy Pham was hurt part of last year, but he is still a very good outfielder and a very good hitter. I think he was their leadoff hitter a lot when he did play, I think, leadoff. But he's a very, very good hitter. And then center field, they had Trent Grisham, and I know they have Taylor Trammell coming up and stuff like that. So I feel like their left and right field both were very good players last year in the outfield. And then the center field with Taylor Trammell coming up and Trent Grisham holding down when needed. And I think that's a very good outfield. That's got to be in the top 10. I have them at 8. Probably could bounce around with the Mets and stuff like that, but I think 8's a good spot for them. Moving into number 7, we have the Rays, and this is kind of almost just the depth pick. They have so much depth. I know Randy Arozarena was insane in the playoffs, and you're probably thinking that's like a very good guy that we could point out as like not just depth piece, but just a superstar. But I don't know if you can just count on Randy Arozarena coming back and doing that type of play for all of next year. He very well could. He could be another Juan Soto type of guy, but I don't know if you can count on that just yet. But they still do have Randy Arozarena, Kevin Kiermaier, Manuel Margot, Yandy Diaz can play the outfield if needed. They have Hunter Renfroe and Austin Meadows kind of platooning in right field. They just have so many. They have lefties, they have righties, they have so many guys that are kind of, I know, slightly above average, but still, they could come up, and with the way their manager uses them, I feel like that outfield is the depth and the platoon advantage of all those guys. And then the defense of Hunter Renfroe and Kevin Kiermaier is just, yeah, I think the outfield's got a lot of good overall balance to it, and that's why I have them at number 7. Number 6, we have the Chicago White Sox. This is a team that, doesn't have as much depth as some of these other teams. I think Luis Robert and Eloy Jimenez, who are just two young guys that absolutely rake, and Luis Robert can be a lockdown Gold Glove type of guys what he looked like last year in center field. So with those two on the left field and center field, it makes you feel very, very good about the White Sox future. And I think I would not be surprised if they pick up another big name in free agency for left or right and move Eloy to left or right and have guys at the corners like that. But if they do that, then they're definitely up here at number 6. If not, they might be able to be moved down a little bit just because, they have a third outfield spot and you have to take that into account. Number 5, I have the New York Yankees. And on paper, I was looking at it, Stanton and Judge And then you have Aaron Hicks if needed, and with Clint Frazier platooning in center field. I know Brett Gardner's a free agent, but if we have him going back there, he could even play if needed. I do think Clint Frazier's a stud, and I hope he gets to play a lot. I also think Aaron Hicks is super underrated, so center field's locked down. If Stanton, DHs, then you still could have Clint Frazier or Aaron Hicks, probably Clint Frazier, move over to left, and then Judge and right. I think this team, when healthy, is definitely a top 5, maybe even top 3 outfield in baseball. It just seems that they're not ever completely healthy. I think Judge or Stanton always seems to be out or always seems to be hurt, and if something's lingering hurt and they even are playing, they might not be producing like they can. I think that's my biggest gripe with the New York Yankees outfield and why I have them at 5. It could be a little higher. They even could be a little lower if I'm being completely honest, with so many guys missing time and not being able to produce at the level that they should. Number 4, we have the Atlanta Braves. Ronald Acuna, one of the best young up-and-coming outfielders in baseball. He's in right field now. He's a very good player. We got Christian Pache in center field, lockdown center fielder, and I think his bat will come around. It's been proven in other leagues before he got to the show. I think he will be fine. And then Adam Duvall, I forgot, played left field as much as he did for them last year because in the postseason I didn't see him as much. And we saw Austin Riley and Yohan Camargo and Nick Markakis out in left field. But if that's their platoon without Adam Duvall and the way Adam Duvall hit last year, granted it's only a 60-game season, but even if he hits like that for half a season and then hits average for the other half, still a very, very good left fielder with a center fielder and right fielder that are up-and-coming stars and just studs. So this outfield could be very good for the next several years, and I think that's why it gets me up in the top 4 for them. Number 3, we have the Houston Astros, and this one's very contingent on people staying, because if I didn't do it that way and I left out free agents, which are some big names, Springer and Brantley would be on that list, and that definitely hurts the Astros. As much as they do have Yordan Alvarez, who is DHing when he was playing, but can play left or right, they have Kyle Tucker, who can play the other. That still hurts them because they're still lacking. Having the depth of Michael Brantley, Springer, and then Tucker/Reddick with Alvarez DHing, that makes your lineup insane. If you lose Springer and Brantley and you have to put Tucker and Alvarez in the outfield, Alvarez defense is not the best, and then you're losing out on center field you got to make up for. So if they stay, though, I do think that's a top 3 team just because of the depth and the hitting. Michael Brantley doesn't really strike out. He's a very calm, cool hitter. He reminds me of Anthony Rendon slightly. Very good hitter, and he's a lefty. George Springer's elite. He's been elite. He's I think he's one of the guys that seems to not be as fazed by the trash can thing. He seems to still be hitting just like he was. Maybe had a slightly down year, but a lot of guys did during COVID. And then right field, you can, have Kyle Tucker or Yordan Alvarez, very good lefties. And so, yeah, that outfield would be insane. Number 2, I have the Minnesota Twins, and I think they're above the Astros just because more of their guys should be staying. Nelson Cruz is their DH, but he can't play left or right, and he is a free agent. But if he stays, that gives them some depth in the outfield when he is called upon. I don't think it happens very much, but if needed, he can play left or right. They still, though, have Eddie Rosario, Byron Buxton, and Max Kepler. Max Kepler has been a very good lefty hitter in this league for a couple years now. He even has the number of some big guys like Trevor Bauer. If you ever hear Trevor Bauer talk about it, he says how Max Kepler has his number at the plate. Left field, Eddie Rosario. He's a very good player. Feel like he's slightly above average, middle of the pack, but definitely a good name to have in your outfield. And Byron Buxton, who really I've been picking up in fantasy every year, and this year he finally started to prove me right. Steals bags, lockdown center fielder, and is starting to hit pretty well. So I think, with that outfield coming up like it is, it's young, it's good defensively, it's good offensively, it's got power, it's got speed, it's got contact, it's got everything just in their outfield. And so that's why I have them at number 2. And the only team that could beat that out, in my opinion, is the World Series Los Angeles Dodgers, the champions. When you got Cody Bellinger, who was an MVP, not too long ago, Mookie Betts, who was an MVP not too long ago and was in the MVP race yet again this year, slightly beat out by Freddie Freeman. That's just starting off with those 2 right there. That might be the best duo in any outfield in baseball. And then you add in the fact that if Jock stays, they have the platoon of Pollock and Jock over there in left field. Pollock rakes against lefties. Jock rakes against righties. You just switch them out, lefties, righties, and you're fine. They both can play defense. They both rake against opposing handedness for pitchers, and then Cody Bellinger can play every day. He's a lockdown center fielder. His defense is insane. I don't think people realize that. And he's a very good hitter. Kind of slumped a little bit for part of last year, but I think he could definitely get back and figure it out. Happens to a lot of guys. Mookie Betts is still Mookie Betts. He doesn't seem like he's wavering at all. And then even Kike or Chris Taylor, there's guys that can play the outfield for them if those four don't have a good day or aren't needed or need a rest day. So that's just, they have depth, they have left-handed, they have right-handed, they have elite players, and they don't have very many guys that are going to play for them any day that aren't good. Seems like their defense and offense in the outfield will be good every single game. So that's my top 12 for outfields going into 2021, guys. I know it will change free agents and trades and stuff like that, but as of right now, that's my rankings. Hope you guys enjoy this. If you do, please like, subscribe, leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think. If you agree, if you disagree, I don't care. Just let me know. See you guys next time.